combat some of these issues. So, how do we do it? So again, for some of you, this is routine because you do it all the time. You have small departments. For some of you with larger departments, maybe you do this on a not maybe on a daily basis, on a regular basis, but hopefully this will help you really focus on what that grounding is all about. So, beginning with issues, things like, personal life, how's it going? What's going on, any kind of job issues, you got anything you need today, what can I help you with, safety issues, those kinds of things, and then it goes with something like, is there anything that I can do to help you? In other words, meet with them, chat with them, so that the relationships develop on a different level. So that makes a difference, so that when the relationships develop on a different level, and you get into a crisis, and you need everybody to pull together, everybody just does, because they have that sense of team and that sense of appreciation. Because this really helps drive that sense of appreciation that people crave for in their daily routines and in their lives. So, have a discussion with the person next to you. What would the benefits of daily leader rounding be to staff, other managers, to patients, to support service units? We'll give you a couple of minutes to chat about that, and we'll see what you have to say in a couple of minutes. Annette?
We really appreciate it.
You're on time.
Good job.
I think it's, it feels validated in the district. We feel like they can have it, so we do that just because we're small, it's easy. Yeah, what do you guys think? What we should do? I think Lincoln does it.
Give you a chance to worship as soon as she's been already.
Yeah.
And the thing about like personal things, sometimes you don't know what they're going on, you wonder why they're
Little bit of individual recognition or recognition. If you do something good, have someone around you say, thank you.
And I think sometimes they're like, departments or things that are going
Maybe it is a
So I can go to campus and say, hey,
Can you
this
go
is brought up by class, and give them their
That's the biggest
Or
issue.
you don't even know what was said, so that you know that you can kind of work on a solution.
So you have got this issue, how can we help fix that? Instead of, we better do something about it.
Happy employees, they're gonna exhibit that, you don't have scuttlebutt going around.
I know, and we shouldn't have.
Oh, yeah, I have that problem. Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, so what would some of the benefits of daily leader rounding be to staff?
Make them feel more
It
appreciated.
makes them feel more appreciated. Shows that you care.
Yeah.
Keeps them informed. You know what? It also keeps you informed. Because if something's happening or something, they'll keep you in the loop so that all of a sudden you're not blindsided by something. So there's a major advantage to you as well here, not just for the staff.
Improves communication.
Improves communication.
That's always we improve.
What about the other managers?
There's issues, you have a chance to work on things together.
It helps to break down silos. If you do that, and so if you do have common issues, much easier and simpler to resolve those issues. What about the patients?
They can see better camaraderie employees, and therefore, they're more comfortable in their environment.
Because let's face it, what do? They lie in their beds and do what? They're in the middle of this great big medical drama called Dundee, right? And they're part of the set, and they're watching. It's like, anybody here remember My Favorite Martian?
Yes.
Remember Uncle Marty? Oh, like those little areas would pop out of his head. Well, that's what your patients are like. They're lying in their beds, they're sitting in their wheelchairs, they're waiting in the waiting room, and they're watching how we act and interact, and they're drawing judgments. And if we can't act and interact in a good way, they're saying, well, what are they going to do? If they can't do this to each other, what are they going to do to me? Help. Right? So it has a huge impact on patients because of the relationships that it builds between ourselves as managers and with our staff. So it has a huge positive effect on that because the patients don't know what we're doing. They have no clue what we're doing, but they can see the effect of what we're doing in the relationship. So it has a big impact. What about the service support units? Well, you might get that toilet unclogged a little faster. Not that I'm saying they wouldn't get to you fast. But it has also a major impact on support units, right? That we show them how much we appreciate. And sometimes with support units, you call them in a panic, right? So again, it just builds relationships throughout the whole hospital between people, managers, staff, departments, and the positive impact is on the patients and the family because they feel the difference even though they can't necessarily, they don't see it or hear what's going on. So secret number 6, some more best practices. Build your hospital's capacity for increased communication via best practices. Model your cultural values by continually refining and honoring your best practices. There is no single silver bullet. You've got to be firing on all cylinders. So, 4 ways to lead change. Number 1 is a best practice gap analysis. And certainly as part of the implementation of this process, this initiative, a gap analysis was done and there were 58 potential best practices necessary to become an employer of choice. And over the next 3 years, we're going to implement them all. So, look out. Number 2, professional development and education with frontline leaders. For us, it might not seem like a big deal. You know, some of the workshops come for half a day, go here, go there. But for frontline staff, to come with their managers can be a huge deal for them. Not over, well, I was doing this at a hospital once, I was winning for difficult people, I had to go to the men's room at a break, go to the men's room, kid was in there talking to his wife on the phone, because the CEO was his buddy for the day. And he could not believe that the CEO was such a nice guy, right? To the CEO, it wasn't a big deal, right? But to this staff member, it was a big deal. So these joint training sessions, when we get the SCAs and managers together, this is a big deal for them. And it has a hugely positive impact. The Service Department Leadership Course, a 1-day dynamic course to learn how to empower and motivate employees and how to hold them accountable, etc. We'll talk about that in June, the end of June. I'm here at the end of June. And then, of course, the Service Summit, and I love Service Summits, and that's where the SCAs will report out on the service excellence assignments, the best practices they developed, and we'll hear the stories that are all about service excellence. I love Service Summits because it is really a celebration of excellence. So those are 4 really great best practices to help drive and hardwire this process. It really makes a big difference. In fact, the last one at Box Butte in year 3, the last Service Summit I attended, they had a Price is Right theme. It was really cool. They had the wheel and all kinds of goofy games. And when you came in, they gave you a name tag. It was actually a price tag. Like, they just went crazy cuckoo. But it was really, but again, it was something that was supposed to go for 2 hours and went for 3. Because it was just this celebration of best practice and ideas and enthusiasm and fabulous job. All right. Secret number 7 is a 1% change in employee morale results in a 2% change in customer satisfaction. Excuse me. Press Ganey, who invented surveying in hospitals, at least Irwin Press did. They do both employee satisfaction and they made this is a relationship that they found. And it's interesting because I talked to a lot of other vendors that do the same type of survey. Everybody has the same statistic, and they can show you the paperwork on it. It's amazing. So, how can we change employee morale? by using the Leadership Empowerment Survey. And you see here a copy of the Leadership Empowerment Survey. We are not doing this right now. And that we took a very conscious decision about that. You haven't had an employee satisfaction survey done in a long time. So we thought it would be best to do that. So are we done with that? Or are we in the process still?
I think we'll start at the end of March, the kind of the way
Okay.
it is.
So that's on the way. We want to get a baseline on employee satisfaction, because I think that's important. You don't want to over-survey folks, because that doesn't do anything either. But we will be doing this survey a little bit later in the year. But we wanted to show you what this survey looks like. There are 12 leadership attributes here. Everything from visionary and change agent to a hard wirer, a word I have difficulty with. This leader is actively engaged in the Service Excellence Initiative process. So, we will bring this to you later as part of our presentation. We're not going to do it now. We just wanted to give you a heads up. These are the 12 questions. We are going to be surveying the staff. You will be getting feedback as yourselves as a manager. Don't worry about the process. We'll explain it when we need to. We will also, when you get the results back, we'll be sitting with you and we'll be sharing with you best practices that you can do in each of those 12 categories, as well as how to improve and some ideas on how to go through that process. But we wanted just to bring you this concept of the semi-annual leadership empowerment survey. This too is a great employee satisfaction tool, although it doesn't directly talk about employee satisfaction, but it talks about employee satisfaction in terms of the relationship that they have with their boss. And I don't know about you, but I'm a guy who's quit a couple of jobs in the past because I couldn't get along with my boss. And the worst that my humor ever gets is this. You know what boss spelled backwards is? Double S-O-B. As bad as it gets, I apologize if I've offended anybody. But we will be talking more about the survey. And this is also very, very valuable because when we do the results back and we talk about how to improve this, we'll give you some ideas on how to really use this and leverage this, again, to engage your staff and get them to help you improve. Because you might think you're the greatest communicator in the world, but they don't. So why not? So we'll talk about that. But we just wanted to give you a heads up that this is coming and a very, very, very powerful tool for you as a manager for improvement. The survey steps are on the next page. I don't want to get into the survey steps because we're not going to do them now, but we will be doing them twice a year once we start them on a rotation. And again, very, very helpful, very, very powerful. So when we come together, probably what we'll do when we're together in June for the Service Empowerment Leadership course, we'll launch this, we'll get this going, and then when I'm back to do the Do It, we might hold you guys back for an hour. We'll figure out a way to capture you for a bit, just so that we can talk about the action plan and how to do things. Because I don't want to give you the results and not give you something a tool that you can use to work the results. That's the wrong thing to do. So we'll jiggle the timing a little bit on this. So bear with me. Secret number 8 is the front line. Until your front line knows your customer service problems, you'll never solve those customer service problems. You'll end a quote from the famous Mr. Lee. Let me take this picture out. All right, so strategic actions to recruit the best of your best frontline stars and teach them how to train their colleagues. And they will serve as peer role models for a 1-year term. That's actually a bit of a lie. It's a little longer than a year. But let me break. They'll be mad at me, not you guys. But they will do a great job. The SEAs are an amazing bunch of people. They come in, they're scared, they're apprehensive, but they come in and they do what they need to do and they blow your mind with what they do. It's absolutely amazing. I've been doing this for 18 years. It never ceases to amaze me. These Service Excellence Advisors, we call them SEAs, not Cs, but if you call them Cs, I won't correct you if you have. So the criteria is for selection is frontline non-management with a terrific attitude. We had a long and involved discussion on folks, and when Brian was here back when, you nominated a lot of folks for being SEAs. Many people got multiple nominations from you. We took all of that into consideration. We put together a list of people that we think are terrific, and we think they're going to do, I know they're going to do a fabulous job. Their creed is, from Gandhi, we must become the change we want to see in the world. So let's quickly walk through the 6 roles. I have replaced the odd picture with my own, because I'm very proud of these. These guys was the City of Alliance, Nebraska, year 1 SEAs. We did the hospital and the city. We were doing service excellence in both. It was a fabulous, fabulous experience. And I've never had somebody shoot a gun at a service excellence advisor grad course before, but Dominic, the sergeant, the staff sergeant on the police force, I said, you know what you're doing? He said, I'm a trained professional. I said, okay. But they were shooting for excellence. I don't recommend doing that at all, but what are you going to do? You can't call the cops because, well, yeah. But it was neat. One of the experiences I had with them was really get to know the city and what happens in the city. I spent a couple of days there just following people around, and I actually rode in the squad car with him on a night shift, which was really, really cool. The one regret I have is I never did rode with the EMS guys, and I still want to do that somewhere. So hint, hint, hint. I think that would be neat. My youngest daughter was a licensed paramedic. So I heard some stories. Anyway, 6 roles of the SEAs. Let's go. Number 1 is to teach the Service Excellence Workshop. They're going to teach 3 or 4, and they're going to teach about 3 or 4 workshops. I know that looks a little vague, but you would be amazed how accurate that is. Once we get the schedules down and everything else. The Do-It meetings is another key tool. They're going to co-facilitate Do-It meetings with their managers in every department to resolve and identify and resolve issues. My personal opinion, that is your number 1 most powerful tool in all the tools we give you in your tool basket. When you get you and the SEAs collaborating on how to do this and getting everybody involved, miracles happen. It's amazing how effective we can do that. Act as a role model, the ultimate power tool and culture change. The SEA creed is, of course, to become the change you want to see in the world. New hire orientation. One new hire once told me it was like joining a family. One new hire at another hospital once told me I felt I was joining a cult. That's my typical pose with all of my SEAs. The one in the picture in your book, on page 23, I was lying on the grass. The lesson I learned that day is make sure they didn't water it before you lie down, because they did. Anyway, that was in the UP, the University of Minnesota. Peer recruitment help managers during the interview selection process to find the best fit for your team. Have sit in on interviews with you. Get them to ask questions. Are they going to fit the team? You're ultimately making the final decision. The buck stops on your desk. But if you got a couple of your superstar frontliners who are saying, no, they're not going to fit in, they're probably not going to fit in. So they're certainly worth listening to. It's another set of ears. Because again, the beauty of SEAs is when they bring something to you, an issue to you, it's not about complaining. It's about saying, this is broken, we need to fix this. Because they come with the highest possible motive of doing that. And generally, I like to tell them, if you got a solution, bring that too. Managers love that. They don't always work, but again, it just shows that you're in the right headspace and you're thinking about it. Anyway, again, the last issue is management liaison, be the eyes, the ears, the voice of the front line, and leadership to improve communication. So key roles that the SEAs have as part of this process. So 10 reasons why it's a great idea to become a service excellence advisor. Smart career decision. 4 days of world-class CEU eligible professional development and training. Build self-confidence and enhance self-esteem by mastering the skills of public presentations and professional training. Be a sought-after expert on service excellence, on patient satisfaction. Become a respected insider who is listened to and valued by management at every level. Discover and develop your own natural leadership skills. If you haven't tapped into these, this program will do it for you. Fast track your career development. Service excellence advisors may be priority candidates for future positions. It always warms my heart, and it really does. In year 2, the one-day service department leadership course we're going to do for you in June, we do that every year for new managers. And invariably, in every new manager course, 30 to 60% of my new managers are former SEAs. It's so cool. And think about this. You're giving them all this responsibility, so they gotta juggle